Yes, awesome. So first of all, thanks for the invite, and thanks Robert for the kind words. So yeah, I'm super excited to share the ins and outs of the 20-20 rule with all of you. To start off, so as already mentioned, I'm Sam, co-founder of Storyblok, and yeah, we're an e-commerce agency focused on building headless commerce web shops for amazing e-commerce brands such as Intersport, Philips, and of course Supplement Hub. And today, as mentioned, I will talk about the 20-20 rule. And this is a strategy that e-commerce brands can incorporate in their webshop to create a superior online shopping experience. So let's dive in. The new role of e-commerce. So traditionally, retail shoppers started their purchase journey in a physical store. But today, these same shoppers are now using both online and offline as a starting point, where online is becoming more dominant by the day. And as a result, we've entered this digital first economy, or in other words, digital has become the most important medium for businesses to communicate with their customers. And not acting on this new reality, on this new role of e-commerce, results in low conversion rates for e-commerce brands, and thus they miss out on lots of valuable customers. And Casper Roorstedt, the CEO of Adidas, with regard to this new role of e-commerce, he went as far as saying that their single most important store in the world is their .com store, and that there's no comparison. And yeah, when such a large brand that actually has a lot of physical stores says something like this, it's also hard to ignore that, yeah, indeed, digital has become the most important channel for businesses. But unfortunately, when you look at the e-commerce space, where digital has always been the most important channel, this new reality has not really sunk in. And an e-commerce experience is actually the most important part of the buying journey of your customers. It's where visitors simply stay visitors or where visitors turn into customers. And the problem in today's market is that many web shops don't convert a lot of visitors into customers. And of course, this has many reasons, but one of the main ones is because brands are simply failing to deliver what people actually want. So, what do people actually want? Well, if someone visits your website, they've clearly taken the time to get to your website. And that means they're open, if they're interested, to invest time and take a deep dive in what you have to offer. And web shops need to support that interest and that desire. And a very good way to do that is by incorporating the 20-20 rule. And this rule or strategy goes as follows. So you have 20 seconds to capture the attention, 2 minutes to drive engagement, and 20 minutes to build relationships. So let's jump into the first one. 20 seconds to capture attention. Um, According to Facebook, brands on social media have about 1.7 seconds to tell their story. So that is 1.7 seconds to stand out and pique consumer interest. And with your webshop, you have a bit more time, but clarity and speed are still key. So customers must be able to understand what you do within 20 seconds. And the author, Donald Miller, best-selling author of the book Story Brand, has a very nice quote about this. And he says, if you confuse, you lose. And how can you make sure that you're not confusing anyone, but are actually winning clients over, turning visitors into customers? Well, that is by making it super clear how you are adding value to your customers' lives. And with that, spark curiosity in your visitor. Because when someone is curious, that's the point when they will scroll down and are happy to learn more and just explore everything, that's portrayed on your webshop. And in general, when people land on the website, of course, they see stuff and they start to read something. And what they want to encounter is something touching, thought provoking, inspiring, or something related to their personal or professional development. And the best way to do that is to actually forget about your product and the product specifications and instead think of your product from the customer's point of view. So start thinking about the product features. And features, yeah, you can see them as hobbies, activities, benefits that people can understand. So features are basically, yeah, they will help the customer visualize how your product can add value to their lives. So to make it a bit more clear, I have two examples. The first one is from House. So House is actually one of the fastest growing direct to consumer brands in the US, and they incorporated this first part of the 22-20 rule perfectly. House, they sell low alcohol drinks, and instead of focusing like on low alcohol this or low calorie that product specifications, they focus on the product feature, which is feel good about what you drink. And with this statement, they immediately spark curiosity, and it also becomes clear how they're trying to add value to your life, the customer. And another great example comes from Warby Parker. This is also a fast growing brand that has become like a real household name already. And when you enter their web shop, you immediately read this statement. And it says, buying eyewear should leave you happy and good looking with money in your pocket. Glasses, sunglasses, and contacts, we've got you covered. Well, after reading these two sentences, you know immediately what they do and how they're trying to add value to your life. And while this may sound a bit basic, it's actually super crazy to see like how few web shops actually implement this correctly and talk about their product from the customer's perspective. So that's that for the first part. The second part of this strategy is 2 minutes to drive engagement. So the hardest part is over, right? You have someone's attention, but now you have to drive engagement and also connect with the customer, which is another challenge. And the goal of these 2 minutes is to have a piece of storytelling in place that makes a customer feel like, hey, this is interesting. I want to learn more about this brand and potentially even buy something from this brand. And the best and most common way to accomplish this is by telling a story. So then the question becomes, how do you tell a story that drives engagement within 2 minutes? Well, then it's important to realize that the core of a relationship between a brand and a person is a set shared of values. So if a person can identify themselves with a brand, you have potential lifelong connection. So with this piece of storytelling, yeah, you basically want to share the values of your brand. So what you stand for, why you do what you do, and who you're trying to help with your products. And another example comes from a recent collaboration between Adidas and Allbirds. Allbirds is another brand selling yeah, shoes and clothing, and they collaborated to create the most sustainable shoes ever made. And on their campaign website, when you enter there, you first of all understand what they do within the first 20 seconds. And then when you scroll down, you can take a deep dive into why they collaborated and what they're trying to make for the consumer. And they have this video around 2 minutes in place that tells a beautiful story about their beliefs on making shoes for high performance. So, for example, running with lower carbon emissions and how also they're planning to achieve this to make such a shoe. And with this video, they're immediately basically sharing their values. They're sharing what they stand for and what they want to accomplish. And if you, as a customer, have the same values, so you value the environment and also believe products need to be made in a more sustainable way, you're going to be very interested in learning more about this collaboration and the products that will be produced by Adidas and Allbirds. So that's that for the second part. The last part is 20 minutes to build relationships. So in the marketing world, we're always talking about this short attention span of the customer and that everything that we put out as a business must be easy to consume and must be super quick. And I also just said it with this 20-second rule, but we must not forget that when we have someone's attention, we must also do something with it. And customers are actually very willing to learn about your brand and the products you're offering. And what we always say is let those who want to learn more also learn more. And to accomplish this, you need to have at least 20 minutes of content easily accessible throughout your e-commerce webshop. So this can be videos, different types of media such as AR, and you need to integrate them into your product overview pages, detail pages, home pages, you name it. Because at the end of the day, a customer will only buy from you if they trust you. And the more trust there is for a customer, the more trust they have in a brand, the higher your conversion ratio will be. And trust is earned by answering all of the questions a customer might have about the products and about your brand. So by scattering at least 20 minutes of content throughout your e-commerce website, the goal of that is to answer all of the questions a customer might have about your brand and about the product. And with that, you want to increase trust and thus conversion ratios. And a perfect example of this is Patagonia. So Patagonia, like it's always a bit of a cliche example, but they incorporated this rule so good that I had to mention it. And on their web shop, they scatter a lot of content throughout, like on every page. So from documentaries to films to product videos. Basically, when you go shopping on their web shop, you can buy stuff, but you can also really take a deep dive into the brand, connect with the brand, understand why they exist, understand the quality of their products. Just really take a deep dive and form this connection with them. So to summarize, it starts with piquing consumer interest. Then it's about driving engagement. And then you need to build trust with those 20 minutes in order to turn visitors into customers. So, that's that for the 22-20 rule. Thanks for listening. And back to you, Barry and Sam.
Thanks very much, Sam. And
Thank
we
you.
have Sam back as well. I think we had a little bit of confusion there about the two Sams that we had on the call, and we have two Davids as well. We didn't make it too easy on ourselves for the first live stream. Um, but anyway, I think we cleared that up now anyway. But we have both Sams back. And yeah, it's really interesting to hear this again. Obviously, I've been lucky to hear this talk before from Sam. It's developed a little bit since then. So it's really nice to see those additions too. And some of those examples are really, really brilliant to hear. And one thing I seen in the comments, it's about telling the story. You know, the comment there from Francesca. I think that really rings true in your presentation. But we have a couple of questions as well. I think this one particularly is more of a statement than a question. But we do have a couple of questions. I think one from Maria that we might pull up on screen. So, hey Sam, what are some of the e-commerce industry no-nos that you see often?
I think there are lots of no-nos, but I think like related to this talk, a big one is just not seeing your product from your customer's perspective. Because in order to sell something, you need to make it clear like how you're adding value with your products to the life of your potential customer. So if you're not really doing that, that's just one of the biggest no-nos and conversion killers.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm sure you could talk a lot about lots of no-nos you've seen over your experiences with different projects, but that's a really good example. I think we have one more question that just came in from Anna. So just wondering, once you have built the trust in the 20 minutes, what do you recommend to keep this trust past the 20 minutes? Very interesting question.
Yeah, so I think that's a question we get a lot. Like we incorporate this 22-20 rule, we have all the content, and then what? Well, I think it's important to always keep your content up to date and keep creating new content because you will launch new products or like Supplement Hub launch in new countries. So always keep that content flowing, publishing content. Um, I think that's the best one in order to keep that trust going and really make sure the brand stays alive. Because if you're not publishing any content,
Yes,
are
yes.
you still alive as a brand in today's world?
Yeah, totally agree. So keeping it active and always staying relevant and continuing to deliver that trust. So Yeah, really interesting answer there. I think that brings us to the end of all our questions. So, yeah, thank you very much, Sam, for contributing with your talk today. Very interesting as always. We're really interested to see what comes out of Story of AMS in 2022. I know there's some very exciting news down the track. So, you can read more about Story of AMS on our website. They're one of our certified and listed partners. And there's also some interesting case studies there that you could check out. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the invite.